Hello and welcome to the DraftKings Daily Trot. I'm Big Italy 42 here, talking about tonight's slate. And as you know, it's Clayton Kershaw Day. He's facing the Mets. He's a minus 220 favorite. He is in a 6.5 run total, which just so happens to be the lowest on the slate, tied with the game in San Diego. So at $14,500, Clayton Kershaw is your play tonight. Going to be tough to fit him in, but just let me run these numbers by you real quick. His last two starts: 17 innings pitched, 11 hits, 0 earned runs, 27 strikeouts, and a grand total of 98.1 DraftKings points. 49.9 and 48.2. Now he gets the Mets, one of the worst teams in the league, against lefties or righties, but especially against lefties there. And it's going to be hard. You're going to be hard-pressed to catch up to Clayton Kershaw tonight if you do not have him in your cash game. So I'll try to help you come up with some value plays to help him fit in there. Your other options at pitcher, you have Francisco Liriano as a minus 170 favorite. Was scratched from his last start. Looks like he's good to go for tonight. He's $10,300. Facing off against a Washington team that they've been about league average this season against lefties. They have just not been very good with all the injuries, and rightfully so. I mean, it makes sense. The only guy that you're worried about here is, of course, Bryce Harper. And, with Bryce Harper, it's a lefty-lefty. He makes for a fine tournament play. I'll get to him here in a few minutes, but definitely a guy that you're not targeting in your cash games, especially because you just really, really need to have Clayton Kershaw tonight. So with that being said, there are other options other than Liriano. I really like Tyson Ross as a complement to Clayton Kershaw. He's $9,100 facing off against a Miami team, as you know, missing Giancarlo Stanton. This is a team that wasn't a very good offensive team anyway. Lowest team ISO. Ross allows the least home runs per 9 innings of any pitcher in Major League Baseball. Has the third highest ground ball rates. This game, a 6.5 run total. Tom Cole on the other side, a decent pitcher. San Diego, really the only concern here is that he just doesn't get run support because this is a bad San Diego offense that, offseason moves really haven't panned out as well as I thought they might have. But Tyson Ross, a great option for you tonight. Almost 25% strikeout rate. Just a bad offense on the other side. So that's the other guy I'm targeting. Tournament options, of course, you got Trevor Bauer against the White Sox. He's opposed by Jeff Samardzija, who I think is also a fine tournament option, but I prefer Bauer because Samardzija hasn't been great against lefties. 338 WOBA allowed this season, and obviously that lineup chock full of lefties. Bauer, though, against that bad White Sox offense, I think is an okay option. It's $8,700. As you're looking for other guys, Lance McCullers is a guy that I wouldn't mind targeting, but $9,300 against a team that strikes out the second least against right-handed pitching makes that really tough. So probably not a guy that I'm really going to be playing on DraftKings tonight. Maybe single bullet in a few tournaments, but I just not a fan of that price. Doesn't have a lot of upside in this matchup due to that. He's a guy that doesn't give up a lot of home runs, not a lot of hard contact either, but not going to get a lot of strikeouts tonight, I would imagine. We saw Colin McHugh, much more consistent strikeout pitcher, I should say. I believe he had 3 strikeouts last night and a fine performance. But yeah, McCullers looking at maybe 6 as his upside tonight. Probably not even that. So being that he's more expensive than Ross, he's a contrarian play, but just not a guy that I'm too excited about for tonight. All right, catcher options. There's 3 guys I'm really looking at. Yasmani Grandal against Bartolo Colon. We know his numbers from left side of play has been absolutely incredible this year. Colon struggling with left-handed batters this season. His fastball is no longer fast. It's pretty much just a straight pitch, straight ball we'll call it. Not much speed on that anymore, and Grandal has been sending the balls a long way all season long. So you got to really like him. You got to be a fan of Jonathan Lucroy as well, $3,400. Matching up with Zach Godley, the rookie today. Milwaukee, the highest team total on the board. Only team with a 4.5 run total as of time I'm recording this, so really like him as well. Yadi Molina at $3,000. Nice cash game play against Chris Young. And if he's in the lineup, he was scratched yesterday, but $2,600 Wellington Castillo, if he's in the lineup tonight, I really like him. Had a sore hamstring yesterday, so monitor that situation. But check him out, though, as a cheap source of power. Mike Fier is giving up the highest hard hit contact rate of any pitcher in all of Major League Baseball at 37.3%. So a lot of hard contact. Reason why there's a high total here in Arizona, 8.5 runs, a full run higher than any other game. Definitely wants a piece of that. Another key piece to that game, two first basemen, actually. Paul Goldschmidt Incredible at home, great against righties. Not quite as good against lefty as he is against lefties, but still an elite option. 5,400 for him. $1,000 cheaper. Adam Lind, great option as well. Mentioned that high team total for Milwaukee. I'm all over their bats tonight. Love Adam Lind. Adrian Gonzalez, $4,000. I prefer these other two guys to him, but obviously you got to save some money to get Clayton Kershaw in. So $4,000, I think he's a fine option. Eric Hosmer in tournaments against John Lackey. Hosmer has really been heating up recently. Home run last night, has had a couple big games recently. He's got 9 hits in his last 3 games. He's been on base 10 of his last 15 at-bats. So he's a guy who's really swinging a hot bat right now. Other guys you can consider, Evan Gattis. While he hasn't shown it as much this year, been great against lefties in his career. He gets Wade Miley, who's been just absolutely... He's been a gas can this year. He's shown some upside, but he's a guy you just really can't rely on. You expect to pick on him more often than not. That's what I'll be doing tonight. Mark Reynolds against the flyball pitcher Chris Young, another option there. And first base, third base for him, he's 3,200. Second base, I'm looking at Jose Altuve as my top option. Picking on Wade Miley. Altuve is still hitting lefties very well this season. Throughout his career, he's done it. One of the better hitters in the game against lefties. So 4,400, he's your top option at second if you can afford him. Kipnis, of course, against Samardzija, 4,500, more of a tournament option for me. Much tougher pitcher there. Other options, I love Justin Turner. I may reserve him for third base, but $3,400, second or third base. He's got reverse splits, and that is going to pan out very well for him tonight against Bartolo Colon. Gotta like him at that price. Scooter Gennett at $3,200 should be a popular play. Hopefully he gets a good lineup spot tonight. In the middle of that Milwaukee lineup, maybe he even gets bumped up to second. We'll see. If he's bumped down, I still like him. Probably more of a tournament option if he's down around 7th in the order. And as far as really cheap guys here, Aaron Hill at $2,400. If he's in the lineup, I like to target guys like him against Mike Fiers, who, like I mentioned, I don't think he's a bad pitcher, but lots of hard contact. Chase Field, great hitter's park. I want to get big pieces of that puzzle there. Third base options, you got a tournament option in Carlos Santana, $3,800. He's been a big disappointment this season, but he's had a couple nice games recently. 25-point game, 14-point game, so keep an eye on him tonight. You can also play him at first base. I'd much prefer him at third because third base isn't particularly deep tonight. I mentioned Turner, probably my favorite play here. Mike Moustakas at $3,700. Still a nice play there. He has Manny Tomas, third base and outfield at $3,400 you can play. Get Matt Carpenter against Chris Young. He's a fine option, but as the most expensive guy, probably not a guy I'll have a ton of exposure to. Aramis Ramirez, though, probably will be, I would imagine, the most popular play. He or Turner, $3,300 tonight against Zach Godley. Nice spot for him as well. And then Pablo Sandoval is $2,800 against Lance McCullers. You don't love the matchup, but he's a much better hitter than a $2,800 price tag, so consider him. And then I'll use this transition here. Third base, shortstop eligible, Tyler Saladino. Guy who hit a couple home runs in back-to-back games a few days ago. $2,300 tonight against Trevor Bauer. It's probably going to be a popular play to try to help get Clayton Kershaw, and at least he will be for me. Probably more so at shortstop, though. Other shortstop options, Carlos Correa is the guy you want. He's $4,700. Crushes left-handed pitching. Gets Wade Miley. Once again, talking about Wade Miley there, but this guy has incredible numbers against lefties so far this season, so you got to love him. Johnny Peralta, $4,300. Higher WOBA, but lower ISO against righties than opposed to lefties, but still a fine matchup for him there against Chris Young. Alcides Escobar, a little pricey for a cash game play at $37, but I don't mind him. Ian Desmond, if you want to chase power, $2,800, but Liriano doesn't give up a lot of hard contact, so really not a guy I'm actively looking at. Francisco Lindor, I think I would prefer there at $2,800 against Samardzija. I think he's an okay option. And then Jimmy Rollins at $2,700 against Bartolo Colon. Probably going to be batting 7th or 8th, but he's had a couple decent performances. Had a double yesterday, 9 DraftKings points. I mean, obviously, if you're punting with him, you just hope that he gets you something. But like I said, Tyler Saladino, probably the guy I'll be going with there. Outfield options, Braun and Gomez. Up there is expensive, right behind Bryce Harper. Obviously, those guys are in play. I love Milwaukee. I prefer Gerardo Parra to these two guys. He's significantly cheaper as well at only $3,800, so really like him. Mentioned Bryce Harper. You can play him in a tournament if you like. I probably won't have much of him, but I don't blame you if you do. Michael Brantley at $4,300 against Samardzija, already talked about. His teammate, nice cheap option. David Murphy, $2,400, probably will be batting cleanup tonight. He'll probably be another guy that a lot of people will use to help get Kershaw in there. AJ Pollock at $4,300. We saw Peralta get hit in the back of the head with a pitch yesterday. Maybe comes back, maybe doesn't. Either way, I like Pollock. Peralta's certainly in play if he plays, but keep your eye on that. I haven't seen any news yet. He's 3,800. Matt Holliday at $4,000 against Chris Young, fly ball pitcher. Gotta like that. Adam Eaton as a cash game option, 3,600 against Bauer. Jock Peterson continues to be too cheap. He's $3,500. He's one of those guys. I still don't like playing him in cash games because he's not very consistent. He's really cheap tonight, though, so you can certainly consider him. I think more of a tournament option, but I wouldn't blame you if you played him in cash, though. If you are going to target Tyson Ross with any single bullet guys, Christian Yelich is not a bad way to go. Ross has had struggles with left-handed batters this season, so I don't mind going that route. Melky Cabrera as well, $3,100, nice and cheap for him there. Andre Ethier at $2,800 is a nice cheap option. Guys below that, already mentioned Murphy. I like him. Not a whole lot of other guys I really love down here. Ichiro at $2,000 should be leading off against the righty and Ross. If you want to go that route, I wouldn't blame you there. But that's about it. There's other $2,000 guys. Kike Hernandez you can consider if he's in the lineup, but I don't expect that he will be. So that should wrap things up. And with that, find us on Twitter at DF Cafe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out Colossus, our optimizer, our cheat sheets. A lot of great content at dailyfantasycafe.com.